Oh no, not the voice chat. That is a shame. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hungary for tonight's festivities. We're back for round 2 of Tier 1 WHF after last week's dramatic race at Spielberg out in Austria. Saw Cookie claim pole position and a race win, continuing on from his fine form last season. And now we are here at the Hungary, just some 20 kilometres outside of Budapest, to see who will be the winner in round 2. All of this stuff ready. And see who will be the first man out on track tonight. 17 drivers, so a nice full grid. Just one reserve tonight in the form of Michael Louis in the Alpha Tauri. And wait and see who's first out. That looks like it's one of the Williams, I want to say. It was Jaden Lomax. So he'll be the first man out on track. Last time a DNF in round 1, so Jaden will certainly be hoping for improvement this time around. Qualified in P14 at Spielberg. And we'll just watch him as he goes around the track. A few drivers coming out nice and early. You can see both Ferraris entering the track as well. I will be hoping for a big improvement this weekend. Double DNF last time out, with Arrow unable to start due to connection problems actually, and JG getting a DNF. I'm hearing in the chat from Arrow it'll be dry and dry this weekend. So a relatively calm one for our drivers tonight. But we'll follow Jaden round for this lap. He'll be our first driver to set a lap time. In the Williams, let's see how this goes. So first lap in qualifying here at the Hungaroring. It's just myself in the commentary booth tonight, GB Sanderson. No Andy with me this time around, so no fancy graphics I'm afraid. But Andy, I'm sure, will be back next week. And we also have highlights to look forward to, starting from the 3rd of February, if all goes to plan. We'll have some fancy new race highlights coming out for this season from then onwards, so that's certainly something to look forward to. Jaden so far just taking it easy, it seems, through the first sector. You can see his red light still flashing, so this is purely a lap without any battery being used. It gives you a bit of a cinematic look around this 4 kilometre circuit, 4.38 kilometres in length. And you can see what they mean by Monaco without the barriers. This track often referred to as a bit of a karting track, and you can see why. Very few straights, very tight and twisty, difficult to overtake. You've got to get creative to get past people around this circuit. And Jaden just going to kindly get out the way, so in fact he won't be the first person to set a lap. Instead, that is going to be Craig Conley. So we'll ride around with him through the final corner. He has been using his battery on this lap. I think Jaden's going to go for a lap this time around. But Conley, first man across the line, a 1:16.8. So not a half bad effort there by the McLaren. But immediately gets beaten further back by Ranger in the Alpine. A 1:16 dead for him, so some 8 tenths quicker. Next up to the line, we've got the 2 Ferraris coming round. First of all, it will be Arrow to set his provisional time. Out the final corner, Arrow goes 4th. It's a slow lap. It's a 1:41. His teammate goes quickest, so JG a 1:15.8. The first of our drivers into the 15s tonight. That's a decent effort by the man in the Ferrari. He had a decent qualifying last time out at Austria, was P8 on the grid. And was in fact the only Ferrari to run that weekend, as you see Billy and Penguin going P2 just behind, 15.9 for him. And behind them, let's have a look at what Jaden Lomax is up to. He's invalidated on his second run. He was going quicker, but I expect to see him pull into the pits maybe. No, he'll go for a third attempt here. So he's getting some life out of those soft tyres in this qualifying session. Still 13 minutes left to go, so plenty of time for people to improve. We are seeing that Mozza and Cookie are both on their out laps at the moment, so we'll keep an eye out for them, as we will Cloud, who's about to start his lap. So let's follow Cloud around for the time being as he comes down into turn 1. Heavy on the brakes, but drifts it a little bit out wide there. You can see the Mercedes sliding a little bit through turn 1. Just look at the elevation change around this circuit. So the Hungary has 34 metres of elevation change as Ritzy goes top of the timing board by over half a second, 6 tenths ahead of JG with a 1:15.2. Ritzy definitely predicted to be one of the quicker drivers tonight. He is very good around this Hungarian circuit, as sliding out of turns 6 and 7 goes Luxury. He's pushing it to the limits on his bank a lap there. Maybe the tyre's not quite up to temperature, but using every inch of track available to him on this very narrow Budapest circuit. Now coming up to the penultimate corners, you drop down the hill into 13, into the hairpin. You climb slightly back uphill with the second hairpin at 14, and then power down as early as you can out to the final corner, up to the line. Cloud goes quickest, a 1:15.212, just slightly quicker than Ritzy there, but a fantastic first effort by the Mercedes driver. Next across the line, it's going to be an Alfa Romeo, but I think that's Titan starting a lap. It is, so it'll be Mozza next across the line. The Brazilian in the Haas was unfortunate last week not to start due to connection issues. Goes P9 with his first lap. For the time being, a 16 dead. Behind him though, Cookie has backed out of his lap. He does have traffic behind him, but there you go, peel into the pits. So Cookie's going to go for a second run. His teammate Ollie has just completed his first lap, a 17.9 for him. So very much a banker from the Red Bull driver there, but let's stick on board with Cookie for his entire lap. Now turn 1, hard on the power. Go down the hill and into this tough braking zone. It's a very long left-hand corner. You've got to try and stick it nice and narrow. Get the car across for turn 3 as you drop down the hill. The end of sector 1. What sort of time is that? It's 27 flat. The game's saying he's going purple. We'll wait and see if that is actually true or not. Moving it nicely through the very difficult 6 and 7, very easy to bounce over the curbs there, but we can keep in control of the car well. You see just how smooth his steering input is around this circuit. He's very confident indeed, a 53.4 for through the middle sector. Again, the game's saying he's going purple. We'll wait and see how much of that is true. As we come up to the final corner, you got a yellow flag in sector 1. That won't trouble him as he comes out the final corner on the throttle as soon as possible. Goes quickest with a 15 dead. And a very nice banker lap time by Cookie, who looks to extend rather his impressive form from Austria. He got pole position at Spielberg last time out and dominated the race, winning by 15 seconds. We'll have to wait and see if he can do similar this time around. Next up to the line, Billiam Penguin has just started his flying lap. We have a McLaren further back of Craig Conley, who started his lap. I think the man to watch this time around is going to be VRL Ritzy. We know he is quick down this circuit. He is marginally quicker than Cookie on 1 lap pace on time trial around this track. We'll have to wait and see what sort of time he can put down in qualifying. Do have Ollie coming around, but he is going slower on this lap, so I expect to see the Red Bull driver potentially peel into the pits. He'll continue one more time around, but for now, let's go on board with Ritzy and enjoy a flat-out lap around this Hungarian circuit. A very close effort there from Ritzy in the end. Nice to listen along to his lap around Hungary. And a 1:15.1 in the end, just slower than Cookie by just under a tenth of a second, but an improvement on his original attempt. And with 6.5 minutes left to go in this session, I'm sure he'll have time to go around again and come back for one final attempt. Elsewhere, out on track, Cloud backing out of his lap. Got JG on the lap, but at the moment 9/10 of a second down. Jalen Lomax has just gone P6 there with a 1:15.5, so good effort by the Williams driver. Further back, we've got Arrow going slower on his lap. Mozza going slower on his lap. Not much improvement being seen so far. We'll have a look at how Godzilla's getting on. Currently sat in 13th place with a 1:16.300. And it was a decent first time out for Godzilla in the end. He qualified 12th at Austria last time out. Following that up with a P8 in the race. Kept himself nicely out of trouble while others were involved in incidents. They allowed him to pick up strong points for the McLaren team, but Cod backing out this time around, opting to come into the pit lane. And he'll have time to go in for a fresh set of tyres and go again behind him. The AlphaTauri also coming in. That is Michael Louis coming into the pits. So not much action out on track at the moment. You can see here Cookie is on a lap looking to improve, and he is marginally up on his personal best as he hits the curb heavily there through turn 6. The car going airborne momentarily. That will certainly have cost him a little bit of time, surely. That was very heavy over the curves, but look how much he is pushing. Yes, he's 0.2 of a second down now. That was incredible to watch from the Red Bull driver, though. The current Tier 1 leader in the championship after his win last time out in Austria. Unsurprisingly, bailing into the pit lane this time around. But what a dramatic moment for the Red Bull man. Bouncing over those curves like there's no tomorrow. And we will just get Ranga back into the session. Elsewhere, Moza currently on a lap. He's in sector 1 at the moment. Or not on a lap, sorry. He's just completed a lap that sent him P6 with a 1:15.4. His teammate, however, Billy and Penguin, currently sat in 9th place. It's been a pretty strong session so far for the Haas duo. Billy currently in P9. Doesn't look like he's setting an overly fast time here. As you can see, his red light is flashing. That shows that he's saving battery at the moment. As we see Michael Louis retire from the session. So only the two Haas drivers out on track at the moment. As we tick down the clock for the time being. The Penguin opting to come into the pits at the end of all that, and I expect his teammate is going following him behind. Indeed he is. So once again, it'll be Jaden Lomax, the first man out on track. He was the first man out at the start of the session, and for the final run in qualifying, it looks like he's going to be the first man out for this as well. So we'll ride around with him. He's being joined with, it looks like Cookie is the second man out on track, with Arrow just behind him. Ranga has managed to get himself back in the session, so hopefully he'll have just enough time to go and set a lap. You can see everyone, look at that on the minimap left hand side, everyone coming out of the pits all at once. Hopefully they can all find space on the track. You can see everyone warming up their tyres here. Jaden in the Williams, he'll be the first man to set a lap time as we tick down to the final 120 seconds in this qualifying session. He's got a bit of space out on track all to himself. We'll see how his lap gets on over the course of it, but we'll also keep our eye on the current provisional poleman Cookie, who is going to be setting his lap time just after. And in fact, I think Jaden there, you saw his light flash, and I think he's waiting until the next time around to set his time. So here comes Cookie. Final lap in qualifying. He's got Ferrari close to him here on the track of Arrow. He's starting his lap currently in P8, but here's the poleman we will focus on. As you see Ranga retire from the session, he didn't quite have enough time to get himself back out on track. But for the time being, here comes Cookie coming up to the Sector 1 split. And it's going to be a 1/10 of a second up. It's a very strong opening sector from the Red Bull drivers who ride on board. Our Tier 1 reigning champion and current championship leader this time around doesn't bounce over the curbs as dramatically as he did earlier in the session. Using up all of the track available to him through this middle sector. And he's lost a little bit of time through that middle sector. He was just over a 1/10 quicker than his pole time. Now he's just under a 1/10. But still improving. Can he get himself into the 1 minute 14s here? He'll be the first man to do so if he can as we come out of the final corner. What can Cookie do? Up to the line. He does improve. It's a 1:14.8. Fantastic effort by the Red Bull man there. And that is a brilliant job. Well played, Cookie. There is your provisional pole time. And his next main challenger, you see, Ritzy has invalidated. So he will not improve in the Alfa Romeo. further back, who else do we have next up to the line? Looks like it's going to be one of the McLarens. It's going to be Godzilla. He gets slightly better improvement up into the top 10, a 1:15.9, just breaking inside the 1:15s. JG, next man up to line, is improving so far. Can he improve on P5? Across the line goes P3. Fantastic job there by JG, a 1:15.2. Behind them, we've got Parallel Harry, just been knocked down by JG. Can he re-overtake him? No, he can't. He does improve, but he remains P5. Next up, Craig Conley coming up to the line. Goes P14, 1:16.2. Billy and Penguin goes P8 with a 15.6. Behind them, we've got an Aston Martin crossing the line. That's Mallard. Doesn't dramatically improve. Cloud has gone P2 in the meantime as well, 14.9 for him, so he gets himself on the front row of the grid, and it's a very familiar sight with those two together. Arrow up to the line, can he improve? Gets himself to P9, back inside the top 10, well done Arrow. A decent qualifying there from the Ferraris, but it is Cookie, your man, on pole position for the second time this season. He lines up on the front row, and for the second time this season, he has Cloud alongside him. Really good job there by the Mercedes driver. He's without his teammate this time around, but it doesn't matter. He's got himself on that front row yet again. And in fact, it is the exact same top three we had last time out at Austria. Cookie on pole, Cloud in P2, and Ritzy in P3. So they are the men to watch at the moment. And look how close it was in the end. Just 42 thousandths of a second between the two of them. Really impressive stuff there between Cookie and Cloud. We'll just scroll down and get the rest of your grid right there. Fantastic qualifying session. Another strong performance, it's fair to say, by Mozza as well in P6 in the Haas. The rookie showing he has pace, and hopefully this time around he won't have any connection issues that will stop him from taking part in the race itself. So, people in chat, there's 8 of you in here. Get your predictions in for this race. Who do we think is going to win? Very close in qualifying, as we say, just 400ths rather of a second between Cookie and Cloud. Ritzy alongside him as well, very far up the grid once again by the Alfa Romeo. Only just edging out JG in the Ferrari, both of them about 3 tenths off pole. And in fact, just half a tenth of a second separated Ritzy in 3rd and Parallel Harry in 5th. Running you through the rest of the grid quickly, we have Mozza in P6, Jaden Lomax and Billy and Penguin 7 and 8, Arrow the second Ferrari alongside the second Red Bull of Ollie in 9th and 10th, Mallard and Cod on row 6, Ultra Titan and Ranga row 7. And now we wait for the lights here in Budapest. And we're away for round 2 of WHF Season 2. And looking down the grid, Cookie going very defensive into turn 1. He didn't have the ideal start. Can Cloud go all the way around the outside here? He's thinking of it. Can he get the power down? Cookie coming under pressure here early on. They're going to be side by side into turn 3, but Cloud has to back out of it slightly there. And now he's going to come under pressure from Ritzy behind him. It seems everyone got through turn 1 safely. No retirements as yet as we wait for him to emerge at the top of the hill. And Parallel Harry has got himself up into 4th place. It's been JG who's dropped back quite a lot, as we see Ranga has gone off wide in the background by the looks of it. He runs himself off track and right to the back of the grid, but out front, Cookie leads by half a second as Ritzy's got himself up into P2 now. Brilliant start by the Alfa Romeo, but a nightmare start for JG. He's qualified 4th, he's down to 6th now on a circuit nut. Oh, Cookie goes off wide. Almost into the wall for your pole sitter there. And having a bit of a moment through turn 11, but he retains the lead for now. But that advantage that he's built up has completely gone, as we see our race strategies, or predicted strategies to this race, going from soft to medium. Let's have a look at what tyres everyone is on. First of all, position changes. Michael Louis up 4 places. Brilliant work by the reserve here tonight. But looking at everyone's tyre choices, you see lots of mediums at the front of the grid. Maybe that's why Michael Louis made up so many places as well. He starts on soft tyres. But for the time being, everyone within a second of the car ahead of them. No real breakaway trains as we see Cookie being hunted down by Ritzy here. The Alfa Romeo really putting him under pressure. Cloud down to third place, but still hanging on to the coattails of the Alfa Romeo. He's got Parallel Harry for company as well in P4. And just like how close everyone is through this second sector. On lap 4, we see a bit of a gap emerging to Mozza in the Haas in P5. He's just about to fall out of 1 second window to Harry. Remember, at the end of this lap, DRS will be enabled. It'll allow you to open up the little gap in your rear wing if you're within a second of the car ahead. Further back, we've got Ultra Titan, Ollie and Arrow doing battle over 9th place. They are running heads, nose to tail at the moment, all on hard tyres. Let's jump to the front of the grid yet again. Can Ritzy challenge Cookie this time around as Cookie sets the fastest lap? 118.2 here as we start the third lap of the race. DRS enabled, as we mentioned. And it seems we've got a front group of the front 4 maybe breaking away slightly, although Cloud is dropping back. You can see that gap starting to emerge. 1 second now between Cookie, Ritzy, and then the chasing group of Cloud and Parallel Harry. So the front 2 just trying to escape as you see Ritzy set purple sector 1 there. He is pushing on these medium tyres. 35 laps of this Hungarian circuit. And there is still plenty of action still to come. Ritzy about half a second back at the moment from the leader. Big battle potentially developing here between JG and Mozza over 5th place. JG looking to recover after a bit of a shaky start. Lost a couple of places. And now he's really trying to get all over the back of the Haas driver ahead of him. Also got this battle further back. Arrow defending 9th place over the Red Bull of Ollie. As Cookie sets another fastest lap as we go on to lap 4 now. He's not quite able to stretch away from Ritzy. Still half a second gap. But it's looking somewhat comfortable as we see in the background here. A move going on with Michael Louis up the inside of F1 Mallard. They're still side by side as we head out of turn 1 down the hill towards turn 2. Can Michael Louis get this done? There's a bit of wheel banging between the two of them. Mallard putting up a stern defence of this P12 position. And for the time being, Michael Louis has to back out, but he does have Ranga all over the back of him now. He's looking to recover after that little mishap on the opening lap for the Alpine. Reminder that points all the way down to 16th place in WHF. So as it stands, only one driver not scoring points tonight. Cookie leading the way here as we start lap 5. Out the final corner, he's still got Ritzy within the DRS, and we'll see how much he closes up down this straight. Rear wing wide open for the Alfa Romeo, and you can see he gains about 0.2 of a second down that straight, so it's going to take a little bit more than just the DRS, I feel, for him to be able to catch up. Strategy so crucial around this circuit. So now jump back, we see moves being made. Mallard and Michael Louis going side by side yet again. Second lap in a row, can Michael Louis send it down the inside of the Aston Martin? He was forced to the outside last time around. This time he's on the inside. They go side by side through turn 4. Little bit of contact, I think, there. But Michael Louis gets the place done, and Ranga follows him through. Nicely done by the Alpine. Taking advantage of Mallard being pushed slightly offline. And gets himself through into P13. Meanwhile, Arrow has also fallen back. He's been overtaken by both Ollie and Ultra Titan here. And finds himself now outside of the top 10, down in P11. with work to do for the Fry, because behind him he has 2 cars on soft tyres bearing down his neck sooner rather than later. Although, worth noting there, you can see Michael Louis' rear light flashing. That means he has used up a lot of battery in his car. You can see it there on the steering wheel, a very little amount of battery left, and it is not the easiest thing to restore around this Budapest circuit. DRS is very crucial, and we see here Ranga thinking of a move up the inside of Michael Louis into turn 1, gets the move done, shuts the door on the exit, and Ranga in the Alpine up into 12th place now. 1.5 seconds the gap to Arrow ahead of him. We'll see if they can close that down. At the front, Ritzy has gained a lot of time here on Cookie. That gap that was down to 0.3 of a second from what was nearly a second at one point. You can see behind them as well on that camera angle, just sneaking into view every now and then on the bottom part of the screen. There is that Mercedes of Cloud. The top 3 very much breaking away at the moment. They've got a 2.2 second gap back from Cloud to parallel Harry, who is becoming under increasing pressure from Mozza in the Haas. You can see them there, actually, all of them following through, all on that beautiful camera angle. They're all at once. But at the final corner, Cookie does manage to get away a little bit through Sector 2. It's very difficult to follow each other around this circuit, though. Dirty Air does play a big part, as you see how much Ritzy closing up massively there with the DRS, as Mozza going round the outside now on parallel Harry, looking for the move for 4th place. The Haas driver outside turns to inside for turn 2, and he gets the move done. Very nice stuff from the Brazilian in the Haas. The rookie getting himself up into 4th place, and now can he close the over 2.5 second gap to Cloud? That, well, time will tell. Harry there picking up a 3-second time penalty, the first man to do so on the grid. It's so easy to get warnings for corner cutting around Hungary. It's such a narrow track. One little mistake can be so costly. But we're now starting to see little pockets of space opening up here. We have a few distinct groups around this circuit at the moment. You've got our leaders who are just coming through the penultimate corner at the moment. Cookie half a second ahead of Ritzy. Just cannot break out of the DRS at the moment. But if we take a look at their steering wheels there, Cookie with a lot of battery in comparison to Ritzy, who has been burning it trying to catch up to the leader. Behind them, Cloud just about hanging on within a second. He's also been using a fair amount of his battery by the looks of things. And now we've got JG making a move on parallel Harry as well. He's up into 5th place. And parallel Harry starting to fall back as he pushed a little bit too hard on those medium tyres early on. And is it now coming back to bite him elsewhere? We've got a real train on going, as you see Billy and Penguin also picking up a 3-second time penalty at the exact same place as Harry. Seems that uphill left-hander at turn 4 causing some people some problems in the early stages of this race. It's a very, very strong race, nevertheless, so far from the Haas team. So we take a look at the position changes. Billy and Penguin up 1, Mozza up 2 so far in this one. Ultra Titan up 3 places into P10. A strong showing by the Alfa Romeo so far. And speaking of him, he is right on the back of the Red Bull ahead of him of Ollie. So that is a battle to watch as it progresses. Further back, Arrow has really dropped off in these last few laps in comparison to Titan. He's perhaps not getting the performance he wants out of the hard tyres. Going defensive as there's a little bit of contact there. Ranga pushing him through the final corner. And I expect to see a move here heading down this main straight. Ranga takes the inside line with the DRS up the inside, and he gets the move done well before the braking zone and gets himself up into P11 as we have Ollie and Jaden Lomax going side by side through the downhill left-hander at turn 2. Ollie shuts the door aggressively, but a brilliant move there by the Red Bull driver and gets himself up into P8. Perhaps these mediums are starting to go off. We see Jaden there on the yellow wall mediums being passed by the white wall Whitewall hard tyres, I beg your pardon, on the Red Bull of Ollie. He said he wasn't overly confident around this Hungarian Grand Prix circuit after last week's podium at Austria, but he's doing well so far. 5-second gap ahead of him to the next train of cars, but definitely a strong showing again from the Red Bull driver. And elsewhere, we still got this train over 4th place at the moment. Mozza heading this 4-way fight. But out at the front, Ritzy has fallen out of the DRS now of Cookie. 1.8 seconds the gap between our race leader and Ritzy in P2. And he's got Cloud just half a second behind him now. And with Ritzy not having that benefit of the DRS, it's going to allow the Mercedes driver to close in a lot more over the straights. So definitely worth keeping an eye out on that one. We've still got the 4-way fight going on here, but the one to watch right now is Ultra Titan all over the back of Jaden Lomax, and certainly struggling on those mediums, the Williams driver at the moment. 9 laps done on them, and it seems the hard tyres are the ones with the pace at the moment. Be interested to see when Ranga and Michael Louis actually pit in this race. They're still on their 9-lap-old softs, as speaking of which, Ranga picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles there. Yeah, they're doing well on the softs to have gone 9 laps so far. So we see a bit of potential contact there. Mozza dropping 2 places in quick succession. And he finds himself down in 6th place. I'm not sure how that's come about. We saw the Haas going slowly on corner exit. So I'm wondering if there was potentially a bit of contact as you see JG going defensive down this main straight, looking to try and break the toe. His rear light is flashing as we see the Haas drivers going side by side into turn 1. Billy and Penguin not at all afraid of battling his teammate there over 6th place. Thought about the move, but ended up backing out of it. As we see now, we've got a couple of people in the pits. Ranga swapping the nose. He did get damage from that, from an earlier collision. Puts on a set of the hard tyres. Halo also into the pits, putting on a set of softs. I'm not sure if there was a potential front wing change to him. I don't think there was, because he has jumped the Alpine. But Halo out on the soft tyres. Ranga out on the hards. So very differing strategies here. But they are the first people to blink. Will we see any of our leaders coming in anytime soon? They've done 10 laps on these mediums. I expect if they're wanting to do a one-stop, they'll have to be going towards lap 15 probably before thinking of pitting. And indeed, Cookie staying out for another lap, as do the people behind him. Ritzy and Cloud both staying out on track. But this is our main on-track battle at the moment. The battle for 4th place behind JG's got Parallel Harry and Mozza and Billy and Penguin all within DRS of each other. No one particularly close enough to make the move this time around. Further back though, there's definitely someone close enough. Ultra Titan getting the move done on Jaden Lomax. Gets himself by using the DRS into turn 1 and up into 9th place. Swear on track. Godzilla very close to Arrow, going side by side into turn 2. Can he try the switchback? Not quite just there, but potentially on the exit as they climb the hill towards turn 4. He's going to stay behind for the time being. Arrow using a lot more track than Cod there, riding that right hand side curb. But these two battling over P12 at the moment. Arrow does have a time penalty as he slides his way through turn 6 there. Bit of drifting from the Ferrari. An impressive car control to not spin it round completely. Perhaps locking the rears maybe there into the braking zone. And he does have F1 Mallard also in this battle as well. Back out towards the front. Mozza is all over the back of Parallel Harry. Is he thinking of a late move into turn 1? He tries to scare the Alpine into a mistake. Doesn't happen this time around. And Mozza continues on in this little train. He's still unsure what happened to make him lose 2 places at once. Elsewhere, battles going on further down the grid with Arrow thinking of trying to win the move back. He slides his way through turn 2. He's really struggling for traction on these hard tyres at the moment. He's lost the place to Godzilla. He's got his former teammate F1 Mallard behind him now on track. And very unfortunate for him as we see Mozza facing the wrong way here. What has happened to the Haas driver? It looks like he's lost traction maybe. On the way out of turn 6, he's waiting for a gap in the traffic to be able to move. He now finds it. That's so unfortunate for the rookie. He's shown such promising pace in this league so far, certainly on his way into it, but a mistake there. Through turn 6 and 7, you saw no front wing whatsoever on his car, and that drops him all the way back to 15th place on the grid now. Very unfortunate for him there. And yeah, just losing it through turn 6 and 7. On the exit of that, spins it round into the wall and loses his front wing. So we'll see him in at the end of this lap. No safety car necessary for that incident, adjudged by the stewards. But such a shame for the Haas team. They were doing so well up in P6 and P7, and now he finds himself at the back of the grid, coming in for his pit stop. And we'll see him no doubt put on a set of the hard tyres here and look to go to the end. He'll be hoping for a safety car, which around this circuit is very much possible. We've seen already with Mozza himself, it is easy to make a mistake around this circuit, and quite often you do that. It's called Monaco without the barriers, but the barriers are still very close to the edge of the track, and he could well find a safety car out at some point in this race. Cookie still leading the way here as we head on to lap 15, nearly half the way through the race. There's a roughly 38% chance of a safety car around this Hungarian circuit. So Mozza may be a long way down at the moment, but he definitely is not out of this just yet. Looking further back, Ollie coming under a bit of pressure from the Alfa Romeo of Ultra Titan. They are our current closest battle on the grid, 0.4 of a second between the two of them. As we see everyone starting to thin out here, it's so difficult to follow closely around this circuit. And people certainly finding that at the moment. As we say, this our closest battle on track, as well as the one between F1 Mallard and WHF Arrow. Both duos sitting with about 0.4 of a second gap between the two of them. Arrow and Mallard battling over 12th place. Ollie and Titan battling over 7th. Ride on board with Ultra Titan for the time being, as you see Parallel Harry actually coming into the pits here at the end of lap 15. Comes in and I'd assume straps on a set of the hard tyres. Let's see what Alpine choose. It is the white wall hard tyres. He's also got Jaden Lomax coming in behind him. Harry, a bit of a glitch in the game there. I thought he wasn't moving for the time being, but he has moved away. We'll see where he comes back out on track. Can he beat this train of cars coming? Look at the minimap. He does just get out ahead of Godzilla, but on cold, hard tyres, will he be able to hold on to that position for the time being? It looks like he will. We've also got Michael Louis finally getting rid of those soft tyres. He straps on a set of the mediums here. Drops himself down into 16th place. And Parallel Harry has well and truly held on to that position. The first of our front runners into the pits. So I expect we will see JG and Billy and Penguin perhaps reacting sooner rather than later. Certainly JG, he was the one that Harry was chasing down. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see the Ferrari driver come into the pits this lap. Ritzy is in the pits as well. Here comes JG as predicted. He's got to react to the undercut of the Alpine. And he does so the very next lap into the pits nicely there for him. What tyres Ritzy put on? It's a set of the hards on the Alfa Romeo. He'll get away nicely. Will he be able to get himself out in clean air? We'll wait and see. Further back, JG also strapping on a set of hards. He got Billy and Penguin into the pits for a set of hards as well. Out comes Ritzy in a lovely bit of clean air. He's got his teammate a couple of seconds up the road. But now the one that matters, JG has not made the overcut work. Parallel Harry up into 6th place. Jumps in by pitting a lap earlier. And JG now has work to do to get back past the Alpine, who finds himself up in 6th place in arguably a net P4 at the moment once everyone has made their pit stops. But yeah, the undercut working a treat there for Parallel Harry. He finds himself moving up. Back at the front of the grid, let's see if Cookie comes into the pits. He doesn't just yet. He does have time on his side, the Red Bull driver. He doesn't need to pit straight away. Behind him, Cloud is coming in. We saw Ritzy pit on the lap before. And now Cloud into the pit lane. Ritzy all over the back of his teammate at the moment, giving him the hurry up. He'll want to get this position done sooner rather than later, but his teammate is certainly not helping him out here. Alfa Romeo, no team orders there. They are racing for position. And Ritzy gets himself past on the main straight, but where is Cloud? There he is, exiting the pits. The undercut for the Alfa Romeo does work. He hasn't been held up too much to allow Cloud back in to this fight. Ritzy was ahead and stays ahead. And now will he make the move? Jesus, a late move there. There's contact between the two of them. Ritzy switching sides very aggressively at the last minute. And there was a little bit of contact between the two of them. I'm sure it looked worse on our point of view with the connection issues on the game, but that looked very aggressive from the Alfa Romeo. Gets the move done, but everyone's still facing the right direction. And I believe without any damage, but heart in the mouth moment there for the Alfa Romeo. Gets himself back up into 2nd place, and let's keep an eye on that gap. 19 seconds between him and Cookie. And Cookie looks to be staying out for one more lap at least. So I wonder, is the Red Bull driver maybe considering a medium to soft strategy here? And going a little bit more aggressive with the tyre choices. Be interesting to see. As we see there, Ultra Titan now going for the undercut on Ollie. He comes in at the end of lap 19. 16 laps to go for him now. And it won't be too bad on the mediums, but it certainly won't be ideal as we see Mozza by the looks of it off track. He certainly had a moment there. It's at turn 5. Not sure what's happened to him. He doesn't seem to have any front wing damage, but he is certainly not where you want the car to be. And not too sure what the Haas is doing there. He was trying to get himself facing the right direction again. But yeah, Mozza certainly not having an ideal day. He's getting lapped by a lot of people there. As we see more people in the pit lane. Further back, Arrow and Mallard coming out in 14th and 15th. Further forward, you can see that gap is coming down quickly here between Ritzy and Cookie. Cookie staying out again. You can see him heading down the main straight in the bottom right of your screen. He stays out on those medium tyres, so I think it's almost certain now he is going for a soft stint at the end, but will he have the pace to catch these guys? Because Ritzy there setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:18. Cloud improves on it with a 1:17.6, half a second quicker, but Ritzy 15.5 seconds behind Cookie now. It's about a 20-second gap lost in the pits, so he's definitely going to come out behind him. It's just, does he have the pace to catch and get back in the lead? And well, if we know Cookie, you have to guess he does. Ollie now in the pits as we see Mozza retiring in the pit lane from his race. It's not been the ideal evening here for Mozza. Not been the ideal afternoon in Hungary, evening from where I'm commentating. And the rookie, he had connection issues in round 1 that saw him unable to take the start after a strong qualifying that got him P7 on the grid. This time around, it was similar qualifying position, but a couple of mistakes here and there have seen him call it a day for the Haas as Parallel Harry picks up a 3-second time penalty. You can see the undercut for Ultra Titan has well and truly worked on Ollie. Has a 2-second gap to him but a lap fresher tyres on the Red Bull. Still no safety car called out in this race. As I said earlier, 38% chance of a safety car around this circuit. It is one that it is more common around here than quite a lot of circuits, and you can see why with how close it is as we see Halo getting out the way of Michael Louis there, not putting up too much of a fight on his 9-lap-old softs. Very much running his own race in this one. Further forward, you can see battles going on the track. There's a Ferrari very close behind at the moment. That is JG all over the back of Parallel Harry for 4th place at the moment. Harry got the jump on the Ferrari in the pit stops by performing a well-timed undercut, but he does have 6 seconds of penalties, I believe. Yes, he does. You can see everyone's penalties there on the left-hand side of your screen. Parallel Harry, the only one with more than 3 seconds, and 5 other drivers also receiving penalties at this stage. Everyone except for Cookie has made their pit stop at the moment. In area positions gain. Titan and Michael Louis having very strong races here. Michael Louis up 6, Titan up 5. Really good job by those guys as we see Cookie now into the pits. Straps on a set of softs. And he'll go to the end from here. He has been massively jumped, of course, by the top 2. You can see them there, Cloud and Ritzy, both on hard tyres though. So they're on a much slower compound, but a compound that can last a lot longer. And crucially for Cookie, he comes out ahead of this ongoing battle between JG and Parallel Harry. That is crucial for the Red Bull, that he didn't get held up behind them two. And now he only has 2 other drivers ahead of him on track between him and the lead of this race. 6 seconds the gap to Cloud. Watch that come down over the next few laps. I wouldn't be surprised if Cookie is on the back of him very, very soon indeed. Further down, Halo into the pits, getting rid of his soft tyres. And he's going to strap on another set of softs, I believe. No, that looks like it's a yellow or medium. It is indeed. Halo going with the 2-stop strategy around here, which has not been taken up by a lot of drivers. If I can actually find there we go, the stops. So he is the only man still running to have done 2 pit stops. And finds himself in the exact position he started in for the time being. Out at the front you can see Cookie closing in on Cloud. He's gained a second on this lap so far. I expect to see a fastest lap from Cookie next time around. Elsewhere, we've got Michael Louis and Ranga doing battle over the last place inside the top 10. Everyone in the top 16 getting points, so if you finish this race, you are earning points. After that DNF for Mozza. See Arrow picking up a 3-second time penalty down in 13th as well. Oh, big slide out the final corner there for Ranga. You saw him on the bottom part of your screen just lose the rear end out the final corner. Does well to hang on to it there. Some good car control by the Alpine. And he is chasing down Michael Louis at the moment. 12-lap-old hards. He did pit earlier than most, Ranga. And he will have to go to the end. There's another big slide down the hill through turn 3. He's really having to wrestle with this Alpine at the moment. Really struggling for the traction. We jump up to the battle over 4th place. Still going on at the moment between JG and Parallel Harry. If you compare the 2 drivers, you can see they're very similar on the battery level. As you see Cookie, 1:16.1, fastest lap of the race for him. He's now 2 seconds off the back of Cloud in P2. I expect that gap to be down to next to nothing within this lap. But for now, the battle we're keeping an eye on is JG and Parallel High. Parallel High going defensive here into turn 2, covering the inside. That will compromise his run a little bit and does allow JG to stay close to the back of him. As you see on your timing screens there, this battle going on at the moment as Ollie has got passed by Ultra Titan. Sorry, not got past by Ultra Titan. They've got past Jaden Lomax, I beg your pardon. So Jaden struggling on the older hard tyres. But we jump back to this battle as we go through Sector 2, the winding section from turn 7 to 11. No overtaking opportunities through there, but JG will be hoping to use the DRS to his advantage this time around. Speaking of DRS, look who's here. Cookie out to the final corner. Look at that gap in the rear wing. It's now open. He's within a second of this front line. We have a three-way fight now as Cloud, we see vaguely there, also had his rear wing open. The front three all within DRS of each other, and Cookie is going to try and pounce as soon as he possibly can. Further back, here's JG going around the outside at turn 1. Can he make it stick? There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Ranger's gone off at turn 11. But meanwhile, JG down the inside into turn 2. They go out of sight for a second and he emerges first as there's a big slide from Parallel Harry. Massive slide there by the Alpine, but he manages to keep control of the car. And he is down to P5 though. JG getting himself back inside the top 4. Strong showing by the Ferrari man here. Very good recovery drive after last time out at Austria. He got a 5-second penalty for a collision with Titan, which didn't matter in the end because he did DNF from that race. It was certainly not ideal for him. Ranger into the pits, retires from the session. Will pick up no points for him. Perhaps the damage on his car was just too severe. But now we jump right back to the front of the grid. Cookie all over the back of Cloud now. 0.2 of a second the gap. I expect the move is going to be made here. And he pulls out the slipstream immediately side by side down to turns 1. Can he make 2 at once? Cookie dives it down the inside. Goes far too deep there. Ritzy went very defensive. And it worked perfectly. Cookie tried to send it. It didn't quite come off. And now Cloud finds himself in the lead as Cookie almost touches the back of the Alfa Romeo. Cookie desperate to get this move done before the soft tyres start to go off. Eventually the hards will be the better tyre to be on. But he tried to just get too many at once there. And he finds himself still down in 3rd place. He's now going to go for the move. Is he into the chicane down the inside of Ritzy? They bang tyres. Ritzy across the chicane. He gets sent out across the curbs now. And these two, a bit more contact as they go through turn 9. But Ritzy letting him through there in the end. Runs very wide, almost into the wall there for the Alfa Romeo. And finds himself down into 3rd place. Some very aggressive driving between the two of them there. But Cookie does eventually find himself up into P2. It's a yellow flag further back. That's Parallel Harry's gone off. No front wing on the Alpine. A nightmare for Alpine. They were in such a strong position with both drivers doing well and scoring strong points. But now Parallel Harry losing his front wing. And he's going to have to come into the pits as we see Cookie's made the move for the lead. He's up into P1 here. He's used all of his battery up. You saw the red light flashing there. And Cloud behind him has also used up a lot of battery himself. His red light is flashing. As Parallel Harry retires from the session. Harry, you could have still had a strong finish there. Retiring both Alpines out with 8 laps to go. And such a shame, perhaps too much damage on the car, but if not, you could have still had a strong finish. Strap on a set of softs, you would have only been out in about P10, about P12 maybe. And you could have recovered on, you know, great pace on the softs. But unfortunate there for the Alpines, a double DNF here at Austria. As meanwhile at the front, Cookie has sprinted away at the front, a second and a half clear. And he looks very much in control in this race. We'll wait and see if the stewards get involved at all in that battle between him, Ritzy and Cloud. We definitely saw some aggressive moves from the three of them. But everyone keeping it in a straight line, no damage. So we do like to see aggressive driving. It's just whether it crossed the line at all. JG in a world of his own at the moment in P4. Certainly having the most boring of all the races of the drivers at the moment. 11 seconds behind the car ahead. 8 seconds to the car behind him as we see a bit of a battle going on here. Ritzy looking to recover from losing that lead of the race from the battle with Cookie. He's now down in 3rd place, trying to keep it on the track, let alone keep it behind Cloud. He's really pushing there, and he's got a 3-second time penalty at the moment, so he's really going to have to push if he wants to get that 2nd place here today. 14 drivers still going around this Budapest circuit, and there are a few on-track battles at the moment, but as with a lot of Hungarian Grand Prix, it's very difficult to follow around this circuit. The dirty air has a real effect on the cars, and we see a lot of drivers on their own at the moment. For entertainment's sake, you may hope for a safety car. For Cookie's sake, I certainly think he'll be hoping for just a nice clean race to the end. Got a battle elsewhere. We see Ritzy is maintained 2nd place at the moment. Ollie is on the back of Ultra Titan at the moment. He has a lap fresher tyres. Will he be able to make a move down this main straight? He has the DRS. If you look behind, he's got that little gap in the front being open, but he's not close enough this time around. Titan able to hold on to 6th place. Let's have a look at the position changes so far. Titan up 7 now. Michael Louis, though, doing a really fantastic job as the reserve here tonight. The only reserve on the grid tonight, up 8 places from P17. He is up to P9. Really fantastic job by Michael Louis. And we see him actually further back, currently going side by side with Godzilla. Michael Louis on slightly older medium tyres, losing out there to Godzilla, who is on 2 lap fresher tyres. These two doing battle over 9th place. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cod is able to just stretch away slightly now. He's got the gap, he's got slightly fresher tyres. You'd expect he'd be the one to sprint away in this case. Elsewhere, the next closest battle is still this one over 2nd place. Ritzy half a second behind Cloud at the moment. Cookie now 4.2 seconds out in the lead. It looks like it's going to be another dominant performance by the Red Bull. His strategy has done him wonders here today. And just like he did last time out in Austria, it looks like he's going to grab pole position and the race win. Believe, yes, he also holds the fastest lap for the moment. We'll wait and see if that stays, of course. Drivers further down the grid may look to pit late on and try and grab that extra 2 points for fastest lap off the Red Bull. Hearing from Mozart in the Haas that his paddle, it failed to downshift during the race. He was having mechanical issues with his setup, with his wheel itself. It was failing to downshift, which may explain why we saw him go off at that turn 5 hairpin. It's an odd place to find yourself going off deep at. And I believe, like we say, paddle refusing to downshift made it very difficult to drive the car. And he says he'd rather abandon it than harm any driver. He'll try to resolve the issue for next race. Next time out, this time next week, we will be at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Always a very special place to go racing. I'm sure Tier 1 will put up a fantastic performance for us. Before that, though, on the Saturday night, we will have Tier 2 flying out to Shanghai, China. And we'll be seeing who can claim win in the 3rd race of the season. So far, I won myself actually last night at Catalonia but it is a two-way tie at the top of the drivers' standings, with myself and Dobbo tied at the top. But for now, we ride on board with Ritzy through the final corner as we start lap 32. 4 more times around this Budapest circuit. In what has, if we're being honest, been not the most exciting of ends to a race. We do have a potential battle over 5th place brewing here between Ultra Titan Ollie and Brilliant Penguin, currently the man leading this train. So this will hopefully be our source of entertainment for the final few laps. As you see, Godzilla as well in 9th place hasn't managed to break DRS yet on Michael Louis. Both of them without penalties. Billion Penguin does have, I believe, 3 seconds. Indeed he does. Arrow with 6 seconds at the moment, which will drop him down into 13th place behind Craig Conley as it stands. But for the time being, we ride around with Billion Penguin. He is the man in 5th place, the only remaining Haas in this race. How much he'd love to be able to hold on to this position on track. You have to say it's going to be very difficult for him to get it over outright once the penalties are added on. But you never know, if Titan and Ollie pick up penalties, this could be a genuine fight to the lights between these guys. Currently leading Ultra Titan by 0.4 of a second. He's going to have DRS this time around. Can Titan in the Alfa Romeo make the move? Billion Penguin goes defensive, heading down the main straight. We ride on board with Ultra Titan. Where's he going to go? He's going to be forced to the outside here. Can he go the long way round, or does he try a switchback? There's a bang of tyres as Billion Penguin goes deep into the corner, and that's going to put Ultra Titan under pressure from Ollie, who they go 3 wide down to turn 2. Titan gets the move done, goes deep. Ollie goes all the way around the outside now of the Haas, gets the move done as Billion Penguin runs very wide there to make sure there's no further contact, but Titan threads the needle between the two of them. Ollie going wide at turn 4 at the top of the hill. He loses a lot of time there to Ultra Titan. He's now second back on the Alfa Romeo. But Ollie just trying not to gain a penalty by running off wide at turn 4. Ended up almost collecting the Haas behind him. And we've still got a couple of laps to go. Cookie is on the penultimate lap of this race now. 5.8 seconds ahead at the front. We haven't seen anyone coming into the pits to set a late fastest lap, so it looks like Cookie is going to clinch the fastest lap of this race. But for the time being, the battle to watch is going to be, well, there's the battle for second, but there hasn't been much progress in that so far as, whoa, Ritzy sliding it through turn 2. Brilliant car control. He drifts his way around like he's out in Monte Carlo with the World Rally Championship. Drifting his way through the downhill left-hander of turn 2. He's over half a second back now, though that might have killed any chance he had. There's only really one more shot at an overtake here, down into turn 1 on the final lap, but he's almost a second back now, so he may struggle for that. Elsewhere, we've got Billion Penguin still within DRS of Ollie, but he's got a bit of a margin to him. I think Ultra Titan is odds on for 5th place as it stands. Ollie, he was waiting patiently behind the battle between Titan and Penguin, almost benefited massively from Penguin going deep and sending Titan offline, but unfortunately wasn't able to get the double overtake done. And finds himself now just outside of a second of Ultra Titan. I think it's going to be game, set and match there for the Alfa Romeo. He's done, it's fair to say, has done a fantastic job. Ultra Titan started in P13 up to P5 around a track that is notoriously hard to overtake on. He's kept it clean, and he looks like he will be coming home in P5 tonight. As we enter the final lap of this race, Ollie is within DRS, but he is not close enough to make a move this time around. And he stays behind. Can he do anything with a second bite to the cherry with DRS? He can't. He's going to be too far back. And if Ultra Titan keeps it clean for a remainder of this lap, he will claim 5th place here. There was a brief yellow flag there in Sector 2. I thought for a second as Ritzy has run out of fuel on the final lap. Can JG close in? He's 15 seconds back. I think he's going to be a little bit too far behind, but Ritzy out of fuel. The drama has come to life in the last lap as Ritzy gets a 10-second time penalty somehow as Cookie crosses the line for a second win of the season here at Hungary. Cloud crosses in P2. Ritzy with a 10-second time penalty somehow. I'm sure that will be looked at by the stewards. He crosses the line off track there. JG will overtake him for the time being at least because of that penalty. We wait and see what happens with the stewards, but Ritzy running out of fuel. Crosses the line, gets P4, his teammate Ultra Titan in P5, just 2 seconds back in the end. Ollie in P6, Billy and Penguin crosses the line in 7th. We wait to find out what happened there to Ritzy. We'll try and get him in the party at the end, as everyone else crosses the line. Jaden Lomax, P8 in the end for him. A decent showing by the Williams driver behind him. Cod picks up 9th. Michael Louis rounds out your top 10. Mallard in 11th. Arrow crosses the line in P12, but he's going to lose that position to Craig Conley as they collect each other across the line. And then last man around, picking up vital points nevertheless in the Williams. Halo crosses the line in P14. But it is Cookie to win here in Hungary. We'll work to get everyone in the party now. Ultra Titan, your driver of the day here at Hungary. And let's start getting everyone in this party. We'll try and get Cookie in as well. We know he isn't always on Xbox, but we'll try and get him in here. We've invited the top 3 on track at least. We'll invite JG as well, given he got promoted to 3rd. There we go. Strong performance yet again by Cookie, getting his 2nd win of the season. Picks up the fastest lap and pole position. Perfect weekend for him in the end. Picking up all the points. And we'll just wait for people to join the party at the moment. There is your leaderboard at the end of the day. 3 retirements, both Alpines and the Haas out. Disappointing weekend for Alpine. And anyone that is in the pie, make sure you tick the box so your voices can be heard. But Boss Cookie is in here. We'll start off with you while we're waiting for the others to join, Cookie. Another fantastic performance by yourself. You get maximum points this weekend after such a strong week at Austria last time out as well. Just talk us through your race this time around.
Yeah, it was good. Sorry, I'm like really fucking from really freaking tired. It was good. I wanted to start on hards, but someone already got up really quickly, and I just got back from taking a piss, so I wasn't able to get on the hard tire. I wanted to start on hards, just keep with them, and then just go along the mediums or go to softs at the end. But tire wasn't terrible. I was at 70% when I put on the mediums. When I went to the softs. And as long as Ritzy wasn't being a terrorist, I knew that I was going to get past them. And he tried to be a little terroristic, but that's okay. And yeah, I just kind of drove
saw
off
a dramatic on-track battle between you and you 3 at the front of the race. It almost ended in tears, but you managed to get through. What was that like, being in that battle?
I mean, I kind of expected it. If I wanted to just kind of drive off in the front, I would have just put on the hards. But I kind of realized, I kind of knew that by hitting on the softs and getting a fastest lap, I would have had to battle them both. But it was good. Ritchie was smart. I even said in my stream, like 5 laps before I got them, like if Ritchie was smart, he'd let Cloud in his DRS, and he did. Um, but yeah, it was fun. I think Ritchie deserved the 3 second he got for absolutely ignoring the chicane and staying ahead of me. But um, yeah, it's fun. That was probably the hardest I've been pushed in a bit. So it was a good race.
Yeah, and despite that, you still pick up the win. You pick up the extra 4 points, two for fastest lap and two for pole position. Next time out, we head to Silverstone. What's your thoughts on that circuit? Are you expecting another similar weekend?
If I break DRS there, I'd be amazed because it's a very hard track to break DRS. But I expect to battle with Cloud again, and maybe Bailey and Ritzy if they show up.
Well, we'll come to that man that you just mentioned now. Cloud P2 once again. Another strong showing from you. Qualified second as you did at Austria. You improve on the P4 last weekend, but it was certainly a dramatic one between yourselves in that battle. How happy are you with this result tonight? Yeah, and you're certainly showing you've got the pace to be there at the front. Cookie said that he's expecting you to battle him at Silverstone. Do you think that's going to be a possibility next week? Well, you mentioned Bahrain there, and we did announce during the week that because of the bug in PSGL that we saw with the drive-throughs at Canada, Canada has actually been replaced by your other favourite track, Bahrain. So you never know, you may have the two opportunities you were hoping for with those two circuits being on the calendar now. We come to the man who got P3 in the end, but in somewhat confusing circumstances. I don't know what happened with Ritzy getting a 10-second penalty. We don't know if that was deserved or not, but for the time being at least, JG, you're the final man on the podium. You had a bit of a lonely race, it looked, but was that the case in the end?
The start was fun. I had a good qualifying. Actually, I think I got the same as my TT PB, which was rare. B so at my first. Then I had a good battle with Alien, Harry, Moser, even though Moser went straight into me. It was a fun race, just boring in the middle. Not much to say apart from it.
Well, for the time being at least, you are our P3 man.
It's definitely deserved, mate. Definitely deserved that 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, we'll see what actually happened with that. We didn't catch it on stream. We saw he ran out of fuel on the final lap, but we weren't sure exactly why he got the 10-second time penalty, but we'll wait and see if that gets removed. But for the time being, at least, like I say, you are the final man on the podium, and a great recovery from last race as well.
My wheel disconnected last race.
Yeah, that was a dramatic exit, it's fair to say, that race. Much nicer, calmer race this time around for you. Are you confident heading into Silverstone next weekend? Do you think that could be a good track for you?
I think that's one of my best, I'd say. Hopefully I can just burn some ERS, stay in DRS, and podium, you know what I mean? But probably not. We'll see.
Well, I wish you luck for next weekend. Titan, you were
Yes.
driver of the day, and quite rightly so. I mean, fantastic drive from
Yes.
you to get yourself up about 8 positions, I think it was in the end. So, just talk us through
Yes.
your race. I feel like it may have been a bit more interesting than JG's one, bless him.
I had awful pace. I don't know what was going on in practice. I was consistently in the 15.6 on time trial, but I had such bad pace. But it was weird because my setup was 50-42 wings and I was having understeer all round. So yeah, I had no clue what else to do, so I just had to deal with it and just drive smooth the whole race. But yeah, I was stuck behind Ollie after the slightly eventful start, and then I had to undercut him to get ahead and then catch Billion. But it was just a couple lucky moments. Some people struggling, some people crashing, and then got lucky at the end where I had the chance to overtake Billion. Or I could even stay behind him and then possibly catch JG, depending on how my tyres lasted. But the initial aim was just to get past Billion. But yeah, I was quite thankful that Ollie didn't make too many audacious moves and keep both of us behind. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was pretty uneventful, other than an awful setup.
Yeah, we saw your freeway fight with Billion and Ollie, where you almost got Billion, and then Ollie almost got both of you, and then you just emerged through the middle like Moses parting the sea
Yes.
down into turn 2. It was we were certainly hoping that it stayed clean, and thankfully it did.
Yeah.
And
I got a bit
yeah,
annoyed.
that undercut, the undercut that you did on Ollie certainly worked well as well.
Yeah.
That was probably the crucial moment of your race, you have to
Yeah,
say.
I got a bit annoyed from Billy going wide, so I just thought, sod it, I'll just go 3 wide, see what happens.
Well, it certainly provided one of the highlights of what was compared to last week at least, a fairly uneventful race. Looking forward to Silverstone for yourself. Is that a strong track for you?
It should be, yeah, it should be a much more strong track than I thought Hungary would be, but now I kind of understand where my setup struggled. It should be much better for me. I don't think I'll be JG kind of pace, but we'll see. We'll see. It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, you will. You just sandbagging, mate.
Sandbagging. Oh.
Well, we will wait and see. As we say, next week, this time 9 p.m. on Sunday next week, we'll be at Silverstone for round 3. Before that, on Saturday, you've got Tier 2 with Arrow and Ollie in the commentary box for China. And we also have the highlights from the opening rounds being released, I believe, around the 3rd of February. So, new and improved highlights coming out from then onwards. But for the time being, that was We Have Fun Tier 1 around Hungary. Congratulations again to Cookie on another fantastic performance from him. He extends his lead in the driver's standings. And we will see you back here next Sunday for Silverstone. Good night.